still having... Oh, I just got a text saying that I'm going to start over and see if we have audio now. I'm just going to consult with our off-site AV person for a second. We'll be right back. Okay, we do have audio now, so that's good. A couple of our videos and our audio may be a little distorted. We're working on that. We have a piece of equipment that is actually going to be going back tomorrow. And hopefully will be repaired, or they'll send us a new one. So we're going to start with our opening prayer, and we're going to hear from our Pope on our opening prayer.
Estamos exprimiendo los bienes del planeta, exprimiéndolos, como si fuera una naranja. Países y empresas del norte se han enriquecido explotando dones naturales del sur, generando una deuda ecológica. ¿Quién va a pagar esta deuda? Además, la deuda ecológica se agranda cuando multinacionales hacen fuera de sus países lo que no se les permite hacer en los suyos. Es indignante. Hoy, no mañana, hoy tenemos que cuidar la creación con responsabilidad. Recemos para que los bienes del planeta no sean saqueados, sino que se compartan de manera justa y respetuosa. No al saqueo, sí al compartir.
We're going to move from our Pope to our pastor and invite Father Tom here to the ambo to say a couple words.
Good evening to all of you. And as Tim mentioned, it is a strange way that we get connected with the faith formation students. But we will do it with this strange time of coronavirus, and we are able to do and to have a live session with you students and parents. And thank you for all of you registered for this faith formation. And I thank the parents, your willingness to give this training and also education, religious education to our children. And we will do as much as possible. And also I want you to assure you that we will do the best. And in spite of all this given circumstances. But I also want you to give us a feedback so that we'll minister you the best possible. I just want to encourage all of you and students as well as the parents for taking this adventurous step and learning about Jesus. I want to thank Tim, as he mentioned in the introduction, and he is an all in all. And his only thing is he's not doing mass yet. So when I'm gone, then maybe he'll be doing the mass too. So we'll make him a priest. Thank you, Tim, for all the work you do. And he is, as I said, he's the only full-time staff besides me, and he is doing everything. And God bless him. And also, I want you to support him with your cooperation and your learning, how you able to learn and able to give us a feedback how well we are doing. And also thank all the faith formation teachers, and starting from Jim Franson, and also Nikki, and Jim is here, and thank him for all the work, and especially our confirmation program. And he is another dedicated person. I have known him for a long time, and he is doing wonderfully, wonderfully well. And we are privileged to have this wonderful staff, wonderful guys to be able to help us. And Jim has a long experience of working as a chief of police in Robbinsdale, and he's recently retired. And Tim has been in this faith formation for many, many years, and he worked with him in Buffalo too. Thank you very much, folks, and keep. And if you need any help, let us know, and keep the spirit and learn about Jesus, and we will. And because ignorant of Scripture is ignorant of Jesus, so we need not be ignorant of our Scriptures, and we will learn more about Jesus through reading our Bible. May God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Father Tom. Appreciate you being here tonight. As Father said, there are actually three of us in the building. Jim is on the control. Me, Father Tom is here. Currently, we're joined by a fourth person working in the back room on some of our plumbing. And so if you hear some water running or something bang, it maybe is something to do with what's happening back there. Let's talk about how we're going to communicate this year, since we're probably not going to be spending a whole lot of time in person. So our electronic communication is going to be extremely important. Currently we have 32 students signed up for faith formation and 20 families. So that making sure that the word gets out to everybody is going to be a little bit of a task. We'll be sending an email even tonight later on with the slides that we're using in the program, so you can have all the information that you are seeing on your screen, as well as maybe any other questions that come in over the course of tonight. My number that's listed in the bulletin and on the screen here, the 612-567-0052, pushes to my cell phone. It's the number that we're currently using pretty much for all our parish business right now, because sometimes we're working remotely. And you can call or text that number. Either one will work. We'll be dependent on our website pretty heavily this year, as you all of our students were registered through our website. Tonight we're going to ask you to go to our website at the end of the program and just check in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have a Facebook page that we'll sometimes put information on, or duplicate information of the other things that we have up. We recently purchased a Zoom license, so some of our classes later on in a couple weeks may be through some Zoom sessions. We do have a parish bulletin. However, I always say the parish bulletin is old news because it goes to print on Tuesday nights. It comes back here in a FedEx truck on Thursdays. So by the time you get it on Sunday, it could have changed 6 times. So let's go on and talk about some of the requirements in them. Basically, our program is going to be lectionary driven, so it's going to be based off of things that are happening in Mass. So we're asking you to watch Mass one of 3 ways. You can either come here at 4 o'clock on Saturdays or 9 a.m. on Sundays. The church, as I look out in it, no one's sitting here. I see a bunch of masking tape and X's. Our church is set up COVID style right now, where every other pew is blocked off. If you were individuals, not of the same family, you could only put 3 people in a long pew. Our main aisle is blocked off. We come in a different door, exit a different door. We take temperatures. We ask you to sanitize your hands. So we're practicing all the COVID things that the diocese has put out, and we're being very, very cautious for those who are willing to come here live. We are live streaming our Masses now. If you can go back and look at our YouTube channel, you can even see the Masses probably for the last maybe 6 weeks. We'll continue to live stream those for a very long time, I have a feeling. We've been blessed with some amazing equipment. A donation came in for all the equipment. Our cameras are robotic, so they can be all run here just at a desk behind me. It's all really good stuff. We'll talk about the check-in here in just a little bit, and we'll talk about a lot of other things coming up. So basically, our faith formation week, if you will, starts on Wednesday and goes through the following Tuesday. On Wednesday will be kind of what we consider our first day of the week, and we're going to always be anticipating or looking forward to the upcoming Sunday. So this, in a little bit, we're actually going to a little video and song about the gospel coming up this week, and we're going to use just different avenues and different curriculums to make that happen. During our Mass, so for like example this week, during the announcement times, our cantor will reveal things about the next coming Sunday's readings. That's not going to happen every week. It'll happen in different ways at different times. And so again, if you're doing your faith formation materials Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, you'll be, or up to Saturday, you'll be anticipating. If you're doing it Sunday, would be the day of. And if you're a little later in the week doing it Monday or Tuesday, you're going to have to look back a couple days. I know that's a little confusing, and you might have some questions on that, but don't hesitate to ask. Let's talk about our calendar. And again, I will email you these slides as when the evening is over. So we're going to talk about October here. So October 7th, which is a week from today, we're not going to have our printed materials because it takes them 14 days to send it out. So we'll talk about how you're going to get those a little bit later. But for next week's class, we ask that you would go to Mass, or watch it at a later time. And you'll get the hints in to answer the check-in questions that way. You'll also kind of get a little experience for maybe some of the Gospels that are going on now. There's kind of an ongoing theme. On October 14th, that is the week of the Wednesday is the MEA. So that week, we're hoping that our materials will be here. So if you have students in grades preschool through 8th grade, you're going to have printed materials. And we're going to ask you to pick those up at the parish center. We'll probably set up a yard party and have you drive by, and we can hand them to you in the car. For those of you who are here on that Sunday, we can give you the materials on Sunday. But one way or another, we'll get the materials out to you. So, and then you'll have them in hand. Confirmation students in grades 9 and 10, we'll talk about your materials are just a little different. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. On October 21st, we're inviting our 9th and 10th graders to come here on that Wednesday. And behind the parish center, out by the tuck under garages on the park side, we're going to have a bonfire and kind of we're also going to have like individually wrapped little bags of marshmallows to hand to you. You'll have your own little marshmallows to roast over the fire on a little wooden skewer that can be disposed of so no one else is touching that. The following week, we'll do the same thing for our middle schoolers on October 27th. That's, we are calling middle school this year grades 6, 7, and 8. And congratulations, middle schoolers. You are the biggest group going through our system this year. I think there are 12 or 13 of you. And so it's a rather big group. And I know last year I had the opportunity to be in the grade 7 and 8. And it was a really great experience for me to be there and a lot of fun. And I'll have to say thank you to many of our 8th graders going into 9th grade. I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to miss you in class. And second of all, I just want to say thank you to many of those students are on our AV team for our weekend. So I really appreciate what they're doing. Let's move on to November. On November 1st, the first Wednesday in November, we're going to do another live stream event. So we'll be here in church, and you can be at home or on your phone, in the car, wherever you pick up live streams. And we'll send you more information on that. The 11th and 18th will be just kind of regular classes that you'll do on your own with the materials that you have, answering through the check-in questions and finding out some things during Mass from those weekends. The last Wednesday in November is Thanksgiving break, so there'll be no class for that Wednesday, November 25th. Next thing you know, it's December, and we'll have snow on the ground. We actually had a little hail tonight. We were looking out the window just before class started, and little pellets of white stuff were falling. And so I'm glad it already melted and is staying away for now. But in December, we'll have another live stream class that first Wednesday of the month. And then on December 9th, you'll be on your own working with the materials and things through Mass. And then the last 2 weeks in December is Christmas break. I'd like to move on and talk about the materials for preschool through 8th grade. You're using a curriculum called lectionary-based curriculum from Flom Publishing. And there are different levels of this, so they're appropriate for the students in the different levels. So students in grades kindergarten and grade 1 are going to get the materials, and their magazine is going to be called Promise. And there's plenty of like cutting and pasting and glittering and painting and whatever activities you want to be a part of that. But also will highlight the readings of the coming Sundays, probably more through pictures and activities. If you're in grades 2 or 3, the name of your magazines that you'll be getting is called Good News. A little more in depth from the preschool and kindergarten ones in 1st grade. Students who are in grade 4 and 5 will get the magazine called Ventures. And students in grades 6, 7, and 8 middle school, their magazine would be called Visions. We actually used these materials last year in our middle school program. It is a switch of curriculum this year for our other students from Loyola Press, but considering the circumstances of having to be virtual, this just seemed to be the best fit so that we can tie in Mass, things that are happening with Mass. And they do have a scope and sequence that covers pretty much everything that we need to cover around sacraments, Catholic social teaching, and morality issues throughout the year that tie in with the different Gospels. If anybody would like to see that, I do have that chart and would be happy to send it to you. Confirmation, students in grades 9 and 10, we'll get to your curriculum in just a little bit. It's somewhat the same and somewhat different, but I don't want to talk about that separate. So here's a little lesson coming up on this Sunday's Gospel. It talks about the story of the Gospel. It's about 3 minutes, so sit back and relax. They do it through song, and I think it works for most ages. And then you'll know what's happening when you come to church this weekend.
Then Jesus began to tell the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard, leased it to vine dressers, and went into a far country for a long time. Now at vintage time, he sent a servant to the vine dressers, that they might give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the vine dressers beat him and sent him away empty-handed.
There was a man who planted on his vineyard land, rented it one day, and then went far away. When a long time passed, he sent a servant man to take up from his land, take some from the spoil of all their work and toil. So to you who have ears to hear, won't you hear? When they beat him, then they sent him to return. But to the man's concern, he sent another there to take up from his share. But to the servant they had treated the same way, then sent him away. But one more did he send to take up from his land. So to you who have ears to hear, won't you hear? Then the owner said, now I will send my son, the one whom I love, and they will treat him kind. But they plotted in their mind, if we kill him, then the land will be our own, only ours alone. So they threw him out to die, and now I ask you why. So to you who have ears to hear, won't you hear? So to you who have ears to hear, won't you hear? There was a man who planted on his vineyard land, and rented it one day, and then went far away.
So when you come to church this weekend, you'll know what the gospel is about. If you listen to that song, it's kind of a fun little song, but it gets all the main points across. Let's move on and talk about confirmation, grades 9 and 10. Your curriculum is called Spirit Magazine, and we'll get to some more details about that in just a second. But the other thing I want to mention about confirmation at this point has been an ongoing tradition here at St. Margaret Mary that every January or February we've had a class retreat out at Dunrovin Retreat Center. We're hoping that'll still happen this year. Dunrovin Retreat Center is out on the St. Croix River. It's a Christian Brothers camp. And the really cool thing about Dunrovin that it kind of works during COVID times because everybody has their own bedroom. They're not very big, they're not very luxurious, but everyone has their own single bed, a little dresser and a little desk. Not that you would be stuck in your rooms all weekend, but we're hoping that Dunrovin will be back up and functioning by early next calendar year. If that doesn't work, we have some plan Bs and Cs, but we're hoping that's the plan we'll be able to go with. So confirmation candidates in grades 9 and 10, your curriculum is called Spirit Magazine. Again, it's a lectionary-based curriculum, a little different from the FLOM curriculum. It's a hard word to say sometimes, especially at the end of the day. Spirit Magazine is written locally in St. Paul by the Sisters of St. Joseph. So some of the stories you'll see, you may recognize where the stories are happening. You may recognize some of the students occasionally, and you may recognize some of the places they're going or talking about. Again, it ties in some components of confirmation that the other curriculum does not. And so we're moving to that curriculum this year for 9th and 10th grade because the curriculum we've been using is basically discussion-based, and that would be really hard to do in these times. So we're excited to use this, and someday we'll be able to get back to our discussions. Let me talk about how to check in here. If you go to our website on the Faith Formation page, basically this is maybe just an inch or two down on the website underneath where you registered. And there is a thing that looks like a chalkboard that says Faith Formation check-in. So everybody who watches this video either live tonight or sometime during the week needs to go to this. When you click on it, it'll look something like this. I had to put it in two different pictures, of course, on the slides. And there's just some basic questions to answer. It has to do with where the presentation is happening from. We also talked about lectionary-based curriculum. And this is a lectionary. This is where the Sunday readings are come from. It has the first reading, second reading. This one also has the Gospels in it and the responsorial psalm. The book that Father Tom uses on the altar, the red book, he's got 2 red books. He's got a gospel book there, and he's got another thing called a Roman Missal. But this is where the Sunday readings come from, and that's what all the curriculums are based on this year. Also, confirmation, your curriculum Spirit Magazine is going to be electronic. We have secured subscriptions for you, and we'll get that link and that subscription out to you in the next week. So if you're in 9th and 10th grade, you don't have to come here and pick up paper materials. You'll get yours electronically that work on a phone, they work on an iPad, they work on a computer. If you want to download them and print them, our license covers that as well. So if you're a person that needs something in your hand, some paper, if that's for you, go ahead and download it. I think we covered the check-in. When you just hit the submit button, it comes right in. It notifies my email that it came in, and then it puts information into a spreadsheet for me. So this week the check-in is just one check-in per family. Futuristically, there will probably be different check-ins for different age groups. So be careful what you click on after this week, because the chalkboard will probably stay there, but when you open it up, it'll probably ask you for a grade level. And so we're kind of lumping some grades together. So 6, 7, and 8 for middle school, 9 and 10 for confirmation, and then preschool through grade 5 will be more of an elementary question. Sometimes those might be broke out into age groups too, but that's how the check-in will probably happen futuristically. I just wanted to say that little transition there was for my junior high students last year. I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, let's do some wrap up, and then we'll see where we're going to go with some questions. So for now, we're going to go with our virtual format. We're planning on it through Christmas break. We'll see what happens in January, if things are going to loosen up, if they're going to get worse. If I had to predict right now, I think we'll probably be virtual for the whole year. And but we'll have another live stream that one of those first Wednesdays in January, mapping out the remainder of next year for you, or that springtime. As I said earlier, we'll send you the slides that we used in tonight's presentation. That'll come out in an email either tonight or tomorrow. And so I'd like to just open it up to some questions. Now, the first thing I want to say about questions, I guess our delay is really minimal tonight. Sometimes it's been as long as 18 seconds. So from when we do it live to the time you see it would be 8 seconds. But tonight it looks like our internet is pretty fast, and it's maybe about 4 or 5 seconds. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and Jim will yell them over to me. And I'm going to go to a different screen on my phone and see if any come in through text messaging. You can send them either way. So we'll have just a little bit of time here if you have any questions. And if there are no questions, we'll have a final wrap up and we'll call it a night. Any questions over on the chat, Jim? Okay. Not seeing any in my text messages. So I guess from here at the Ambo at Church, we're going to wrap things up in about 35 minutes here. And we just hope that you can have a great year and enjoy our new format. One of the things that is good about it is it does allow flexibility, that you don't have to necessarily do it on Wednesday night. You can do it on pretty much any day or night of the year, or in the middle of the night, or whatever time works for you to best do it. So we invite you to have a good year, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.